If you ever walked away from a conversation wondering why it didn't land, or found yourself asking why someone seems to be pulling away instead of leaning in, this conversation is for you.
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion, my words got power, my thoughts have action, motivation, stay gracious, that's greatness, be audacious, motivation, be audacious, innovation, be audacious, inspiration, be bold, motivation, be audacious.
The round pen is this enclosure where I work with the horse loose. The horse is loose and free, and it's natural horsemanship techniques. It's all this horse whispering things. And what I do is not about the horse at all. And when I have people come out to the farm, it's not about the horse, it's about them. So when you say live your life to the fullest, for me, the best way to do that is understand yourself as best you can, so that you know how to live your life to the fullest.
Right. That's right. Well, this podcast is all about helping you live your best audacious life, and so glad that you could be here. Today's guest is Maria Alessandri. She's the author of Ask Like You Mean It, and throughout the years, she's worked with horses. There's a lot of time spent working with horses, and she's discovered that their biggest lessons aren't really about horses at all. They're about us. Leadership, parenting, communication, boundaries, they all start in the same place. And I got to be honest, I came to this conversation expecting to learn a little bit about horses, but instead I found myself thinking about people. And every time she shared a story, it had me mentally replaying conversations that I've had over the years and wondering how often our energy says something our words never do. There's a lot to this one, folks, but in a very, very good way. So without any further ado, here's my conversation with Maria Alessandri. Enjoy. Hey, Maria, thank you for joining me here today on the Audacious Living Podcast. I appreciate you for taking the time to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been enjoying getting on the podcast trail, as they say. And everything that you had said, I've listened to a few of yours, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's really definitely in line.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much is about, encouraging individuals to live their best audacious life, right? And so I think the really cool thing is understanding that the path to get there is going to be different, because we're all on our own paths and we're on our own journeys, and that we appreciate, what we have, in front of us. And so, your path on yours, you've got some horses that you're on that pathway that's walking with you. And I mean that literally, you literally have horses. And it's you sort of take lessons from horses, leadership lessons that can help other people to live their best audacious life. And it's really cool, because really, the way I look at it is, you're in one of the most unexpected classrooms, if you will, right? You're in a horse barn, right?
I often call the round pen my favorite classroom.
I love it.
The round pen is this enclosure where I work with the horse loose. The horse is loose and free, and it's natural horsemanship techniques. It's all this horse whispering things. And but at the end of the day, it's not about the horse, it's about me. So
yes,
I've been able to turn this around where what I do is not about the horse at all. And when I have people come out to the farm, it's not about the horse, it's about them. So when you say live your life to the fullest, for me, the best way to do that is understand yourself as best you can, so that you know how to live your life to the fullest.
That's right.
I'm a self-help junkie for sure. And I've been able to take all these lessons from the horses and my favorite class from the round pen, and turn that into how does this help me with my kids, at work? Like, where are the lessons? Where am I taking the lessons to?
Well, there's universal applications, no question about that. And I do very much love the fact that you sort of make that focus inward, because it is very much about me, and even in the leadership space, it is very much about you as a leader before you can have an impact on other people. And so I think I do believe that the applicability is universal. You talk about lessons from horses in the area of communication and being in touch with your emotions and intentional leadership. I'd love to, and maybe kind of as a starting point to help us sort of understand how you got on this pathway. riding a horse, probably, but you got on this pathway,
So
and yeah, I'd love to hear. Yeah.
unexpectedly for sure. Horses were always my passion. I grew up in New York City. My parents came here from Chile, South America, in the 60s. I'm first American born. In New York City, they had medical residencies and they ended up staying. The political climate in Chile was difficult, so they didn't go back. They stayed, and so I grew up just an American, and obsessed with horses. But in New York, you could imagine that it's just really no opportunity until I saw a policeman.
Right, right.
I saw a police and I followed him to his barn, and the park police, they were so amazing and gracious and letting, it ended up being a little group of us that would hang out and learned all the horsemanship from them. But went education. Got my undergraduate degree, then I got a master's and MBA, and I went the business route. The horse was just my hobby.
Mm,
So I didn't own my first horse till I was 37. So, but I had leased, like while I was in school and everything, I had leased other people's horses, and because I always loved them. So I was always
sure.
obsessed with horses. I just didn't have the opportunity. I didn't grow up on a farm,
Hmm.
even though that's where my heart has led me. I went education and worked corporate America for over 20 years, had 5 kids in that time, and horses were always in the background. And I was having trouble. I adopted a horse from the kill pen, actually a thoroughbred who didn't make it on the track. And I was struggling to train him.
Can you, if you don't mind, just for
Yeah.
those, a kill pen? Why don't I just make sure people know?
Yeah, unfortunately, most horses that are bred for racing don't make it. So they are literally, there is an auction where buyers will come and pretty much put a price based on how much meat they think they can get out of the
Okay,
horse.
okay,
And so there are groups that go around and try to adopt out, because the one I adopted, he was only 5 years old. There's no reason for him to be in this like kill pen
right.
slaughter
Hmm.
line. So I brought him home. He's a nervous wreck. I thought I could
Sure.
train him. I realized I'm not equipped. The police horses were already trained. So this is a
Right.
whole different ball game.
Yes.
And I sadly overestimated my abilities. I admit it. So I started looking for trainers, and the ones that I really liked were the ones that talked about partnership, rather than
Yeah.
dominance, rather
Okay.
than scaring the horse into obedience. It was definitely about partnership. And I thought, well, that idea I like. So learning all these natural horsemanship techniques, and then I started making correlations with the things that I was learning with the horse with my life. And I was
Yes.
working at the time. So I'll tell you one story. I used to keep my horse at a stable. They call it boarding when
Yeah.
someone else takes care of your horse.
Right. Right.
And there was a young lady that had a horse there, and she used to keep the halter on the horse. So the halter is all the headgear and the
Okay.
rope.
Okay.
So while the horse is in the field, she still kept that on. Usually when you leave your horse out in a pasture, you take everything off and let them be horses, but she used to keep that on. And I asked her one day, why do you keep that on? Your mare's a female horse. And she said, well, because she runs away from me. So I need to get close enough to her and just grab the rope really quick. Otherwise she runs off.
Hmm.
And I thought, that's the last kind of relationship that I want with my horse, right? Just like your
Hmm.
dog. If your
Yeah.
dog runs away from you when you get home,
Yeah.
you know something's wrong, right?
Right.
So my horses ran to me because I had built this relationship with them that, yeah, sometimes I rode them, but sometimes we grazed. Sometimes they got a bath. I knew their favorite itchy, scratchy places. Like I always balance the interaction where it's not just me and my intention and everything that I want, but like, let's make it fun for him too. And if we did ride, then he would get a bath, and then he gets to eat the green grass and something where it's kind of like, we're buddies, we're friends. So
Hmm.
that when he sees me, he's like, oh, yay, she's here. Not, oh, I got to run away. So flash forward again, I'm thinking I'm doing this training because I'm going to have a great relationship with my horses,
Right.
right? I'm not thinking beyond this. Now, my self-help mind, I do like enneagrams and, all these personality tests and why you do things. So I am geared towards that. So I think that's what helped me start making connections in my life with what I was doing at the barn. So flash forward a few years and I'm having coffee at my kitchen counter and I see one of my teenage boys coming towards the kitchen. Then he stops and he
Hmm.
starts backing up.
Okay.
So I thought, oh, he saw me and he doesn't want to come into the kitchen like I
Right.
did. Do you
Right.
see the connection? Like
Yes.
what the
Yeah,
girl did
absolutely.
with the horse running away, I did it with my son. And
Right.
I thought,
Right.
okay, that's definitely not okay. So then I
Mm.
just had to start, okay, I need to not come at my son with all these expectations.
Yes.
What are you up to? What are you doing? What are you? And this story resonates a lot with when I give talks, and
Mhm.
because there's so many parents that are like, oh, I didn't realize I was doing that. Because every time, we have our kid in the car going
Yep.
to a sports event and we feel like, oh, now I'm going to have him captive. He has to talk to me. Not really.
No. No.
And is that what we want? Like, do we want to have them captive or do we want
Mm.
them to freely come
Right.
and talk to
Right.
us? So it was really that it hit me like at that kitchen counter, and I thought, oh, okay.
Beautiful
So with
story.
humans, what can I do
Yep.
to improve this relationship? I need to just not have all these expectations and not say, did you clean your room? How are you doing in school? Did you get back to so and so
Right.
college? All the litany of things that we want to know from our teenagers. So I had to, in horsemanship, it's called releasing pressure. When you
Mm.
just back off, horses are super, super sensitive energetically,
Yep.
and even our body language can cause pressure that they respond to, right?
Yes. Yes.
So, yes, and it starts here, right?
What's really interesting. One of the things that made a point of wanting to ask you is how so you adopt this horse from a kill pen. How did that transform your understanding of control and connection? And that's exactly what you just described there in terms of like releasing the pressure as the example, letting
Yes.
go of that control, letting things naturally happen. I think there's a part of this that really is as you're talking, it's very very clear to me is that the relationship that you develop with a horse, it has to be a gradual process. You can't just get the horse and come on, let's ride and go like they do in the cowboy movies. I jump on the horse and go. There's a process that they've got to feel comfortable, and you've got to feel comfortable. It's a learning of one another. And so I like the word that partnership or collaboration. I like that a lot.
And I actually had one trainer that would say, if you don't have leadership on the ground with this horse, you have no business getting on.
Ah,
Yeah. It's just usually when people get on, they have a strong bit in the mouth. They have tools.
right.
Rather than the partnership,
Mm,
they have tools. They
gotcha.
have spurs or they have,
Right.
yeah. That the issue with that is it's fear-based.
That's right. It doesn't create
And
connection either.
it doesn't create connection. Horses don't learn well fear-based because they are prey animals. That's a big part of this whole thing. They're prey, we're predators.
Gotcha.
So a lot of what we do is aggressive to them. Just our being, the
Yep.
way we look at them could be aggressive, right? So learning to work with them, learning to tone that down,
Hmm.
learning to release the pressure. So with my son, how do I release the pressure in this relationship? And sometimes it was simple things like if we were in the car together, I would just say, hey, I'm finishing this book on tape. Do you mind if I put it on? I just have a few chapters left. And that way it wasn't this feeling of, oh, he's captive now in the car. So it's like, and sometimes he would listen, sometimes, but you could feel the energy kind of just be relaxed
Yep.
because, yeah. So it's almost, and at work, what does this look like at work? Do you ever have this boss at the minute you're in the elevator together, he's grilling you, or
Yeah.
you're the
Yep.
boss grilling
Yep.
someone and you're not saying like, I had
Hmm.
one client that came who hated small talk.
Okay.
And I said, try to think of it a different way because small talk with the horse, what we would do in sessions when people would come out for sessions, The first minute or two, we're just standing with the horse. We're touching him, we're letting him smell us, we're not asking anything because, and I call that a meet and greet. Like you
Mm,
have to have an initial kind of feel each other out. So this one client who didn't like small talk, and I said, can you rethink of it? It's not for you, but it's for those around you that need to ease into a
right.
conversation.
Hmm.
Yes.
So as you're talking, I'd love to sort of hear your perspective. And so, what does leadership look like from the eyes of a horse?
So you have to be, first of all, honest. If you're fake, they will not believe you and they sense it. They sense it. One time I had a lady, one of the exercises we do is we invite the horse into our space. So we send
Yeah.
them out first and then we
Okay.
turn around and invite him back in.
Okay.
And he would not come in. And she's smiling and saying, come, come, come. And he would not budge. And we were in a group setting. I knew she was getting a little upset. And I said, let's take a break. And I pulled her aside and I said, the only time that he wouldn't advance to me, when he wouldn't come to me, was when I'm pretending to be okay. And I'm not.
Gotcha.
And she broke down crying, and that was definitely the case that she, had some issues going on, and she was trying to smile and fake it till you make it. The problem is the horse feels it. So I always
Gotcha.
tell people, if you're scared, be scared. If you're, whatever you're feeling, it's fine. That saying where don't let a horse know you're afraid.
Yep.
He knows you're afraid.
You're not fooling nobody.
Yeah, he feels it. So yeah, with horses, first of all, authenticity. You have to be authentic. You have
Mm,
to be present. And if you're not present, they're not going to be present either. If you're not into it, they feel that. So they can check out. I
gotcha.
had a I had a group, moms and sons, three moms, three sons that came, teenagers.
Hmm. Hmm.
And the moms, everybody takes a turn in the round pen. And we do a few exercises and to demonstrate different parts of communication is the key to everything, right? There's a George Bernard Shaw quote that says that the single biggest issue problem in communication is the assumption that it has taken place.
Yes.
So we all think we're great communicators, and then we wouldn't have so much struggle if we were, you know what I mean?
I do.
So learning from a horse is really, really fun. So the moms and teenagers, everybody did great, except one teenager who came in and he's pushing on my horse and
Yes.
he's mad and he's like, why won't he move? He did it for them. And I said, your energy is pretty different. And the horse, he can tell you don't want to be here.
Sense it. Right.
Yeah. And the kid said, yeah, my mom made me come. I don't want to do this. And I said, I get it. I'm really sorry that that's the case. I said, but mom's over there. She's chatting with her friends. How about you take this time for you and see if something can come out of it? Like, just, I get it. You don't want to be here, but you are. So let's see what,
Right.
yeah. And then he just decided to engage with the horse. And the minute he started, like, being authentic, and
Yep.
the horse responded. And then he was like, oh, okay. So it's the energy you put into something you get back. And the horse, they're just so honest. They're not gonna, pretend for your sake.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I often say also horses don't play chess.
They don't.
They don't
They're
play,
not thinking 3 or 4 steps ahead. No.
no, it's just they're here, like present. And if you're on the phone all the time, they're gonna check out.
Got you.
Yeah.
I mean, wow,
Yeah.
that's a big one, and I do like um, again, the idea of being even intentional about your emotional energy, right? Because of their ability to sense. Would you say their ability is sort of a significantly higher level? Yeah.
Yeah, a lot higher. I think because they're prey. They're prey animals.
Okay.
So they have to be on alert. So even though we kind of have them quasi domesticated,
Yeah.
not really, because their prey instinct still takes over. Like their instinct is to run. So
Yes.
if they're scared, they want to run.
Mm,
They don't turn around, they don't fight. Like when you see horses bucking, biting, kicking, it means something got so extreme that they had to resort to that.
Right. It's not something you see often.
No,
Yeah. Hmm.
no, not if you're listening.
No, got you. That's a good
Now,
point.
and sometimes we don't know to listen, or, like even my son, maybe he had been backing away from me for a while and I wasn't listening until
Yeah, yeah.
it
Right,
really
right. Because
hit.
if you're listening, the signs and signals have been sent a long time ago. But if you're, as long as you're in tune with them, but if you're not, you're gonna miss it. It's going over your head,
Yes,
and be like, what's wrong with him? Like, why is he right?
right, right.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
So give me the title of your book again. It's Ask Like,
Ask like you mean it.
okay. So
Lessons in communication from an unexpected source, my horse. So, ask like you mean it came up because one of the exercises we do with the horse is we ask for his leg. And
okay,
again, when you're asking a prey animal to give up their means of escape, it's kind of, there has to be trust, right?
right, right.
So I would have people ask for the leg like from 3 feet away. Oh, why won't he give me his leg? And I would say, are you afraid to get closer? No. I said, okay. Then you have to ask like you mean it. Ask like you see his leg in your hand. Like
Yes.
and that again, it's intention. It starts here. Your intention, then your body language and your energy have to match.
Mm,
Ask like you mean it. And then the person would walk up, ask like they meant it. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, and then this is where I challenge people. Okay, this isn't about the horse, right? Because you saw him lift his leg for everyone else. So
right,
what?
right,
Yeah. So this bringing it back to the person, because this is supposed to be you take this home. You're not coming here to learn how to be a
right,
horse trainer.
right.
You're
That's
coming
right.
to learn, where are your spots where
I love
maybe
that.
you're not communicating clearly. And so ask like you mean it. Where else in your life do you not? And
Hmm.
that I usually try to pair all the horse stories with a real life story.
Yep.
And one time I invited one of my sisters for a barbecue. I'm having a barbecue at the house. I would love for you to come, but I totally get it if you can't come. I know you're super busy, blah, blah, blah. And she says to me, am I invited or not? Because the way you said, I know you're too busy. Like,
Yeah, you asked you to come or not. No, that's good. Yep, that's right. Yep.
how often do we do that?
Yeah. Be direct, be clear, and
And
be
ask
open.
like you mean it. Like if you want something, ask for it.
Hmm. There's nothing wrong
Even
with that.
from the other person, don't expect somebody, your spouse, your partner, nobody's a mind reader.
No. So then, Maria, let's ask the question then,
Yeah.
why don't people ask like they mean it?
I think it's a lot of things. I think it's we don't like hearing no. I think we need more practice saying no and hearing no.
Okay.
Like no is not a bad word. Do you know
No.
what I mean? But we get offended, we get hurt. Like if I invite somebody and they say no, thank you, I feel like I'm deserved a whole backstory.
Mm,
Right? Like, oh, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that. But how many times is that story not real?
got you.
You know what I mean? Like, we
Yep.
make excuses, we want to soften it because we're just not practiced. And this is part of boundary setting. And with horses, you have to say no. No, you're standing too close to me. I don't like it. Back up, you
Mm,
know? So with horses, because he's 1,000 pounds, he
yep.
could hurt me. We can be a little more direct and clear. With people, we get a little more wishy-washy.
Got you.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could start talking about those parallels between, training horses and setting boundaries with humans.
Oh, so a big boundary one. So I have these little sayings that I like to say, like ask like you mean it.
Yep.
Another one is block, don't punch. So the last exercise that we do with the people after they've worked on a few exercises with the horse and build a trust, literally in a matter of 10 minutes,
Okay.
they get connected. The horse connects with them. And so the last exercise is the horse follows them around the round pen. Again, the horse is loose, free. No dragging, no pulling, no ropes, none of that. It's all energy, intention, trust, partnership. So the horse follows the person. So I had one client who the horse was following, but every now and then the horse was leaning into the person. And so she started like pushed up against the fence. And I said, no, no, maintain your space, like
Right.
maintain your, and she wouldn't. And he pretty much had her climbing the fence. And I'm like, Okay. What maintain your space? I said, open your shoulders, block. This is a block with the horse.
Hmm.
And she turned to me and she said, I don't want to punch him. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. Then if it's my fisted hands, then keep your hands open.
Right.
But maintain like with your
Yes.
energy.
Yes. But yeah,
This
yeah,
is my
energy.
bubble. This is
Yep.
my bubble. Don't push me into the fence.
Hmm.
And it doesn't have to be an argument, but it has
Yes.
to be assertive. We talk about difference between assertiveness and aggression.
Yep.
Very different. Aggression is emotional. Assertiveness is just matter of fact. No, this is my spot,
Right.
please.
Hmm.
And then we walk, and the horse is like, oh, okay, I know my boundary, right? This is a boundary.
Gotcha.
So obviously, she thought setting boundaries was mean.
Mm.
She thought that felt like a punch. And I said, but a punch is aggressive, the
Yes.
motion. It's a
Yes.
full body act. It's a totally different energy than, no, I'm not blocking my space. She had a really hard time seeing that difference.
I'm actually going to bring it back to something you said earlier, which is it's about the person, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
very much about her perception of what she saw, very much about the person.
And her ability to separate emotion,
Hmm.
because again, assertiveness, non-emotional, not emotional, just no, this is my space. If you get to the part where it's emotional and you are punching,
Hmm.
it's gone too far.
Yes.
So that's block, don't punch. Block, don't punch. So then I challenge people, think of the last argument you had with someone.
Right.
Was there a time in that interaction that maybe you could have blocked before it became punches?
Hmm.
Did you stay quiet for too long until you blew up? And then now you've gone too far?
Right.
Well, maybe there were 10 steps that I could have caught it earlier and said, oh, and this happened to me. I'd had a conflict with someone at work, and I had let a conversation go for too long, hoping it would go away because, again, I didn't want to say no or, correct. And I let the conversation thinking it'll go away. It didn't go away. And it got worse because I didn't say no and I let it go for so long that then it
Mm.
almost seems like this abrupt, well, wait a second, we've been
Yes.
talking about this. And it's in my head, I'm like, no, you were talking about it. I didn't agree with you, but I didn't say I don't agree. I
Got you.
didn't in a calm, unemotional way.
Right. Right.
So it's been amazing to learn with horses to be not emotional.
Well, I mean, what I'm hearing is very much the importance of emotional regulation, is what I'm
Yes,
hearing, right? How key
yes,
that is, right?
yes,
Which is so, so important.
yes.
So then let's talk about how we unlearn these sort of unhealthy communication things or stuff that we're doing. Um, I mean, if you keep within the context of a horse, right? Like the horse training, right? How do you untrain a horse? Of
Slowly
so
and consistently
right, okay,
and showing up. So part of the young lady that had the mare who ran away from her, part of the issue was there. She only showed up when she wanted to ride
gotcha.
or do something. So she wasn't really there for her horse at all. So
Mm,
how do we show up for people? Do we only show up when we need something? Well, that's what the relationship is going to be then. Do you know what I mean? So even with my kids, realizing like I need to be present
hmm.
to have a connection. You can't
Right.
expect to have a connection if you're not there and if
Yep.
you're not safe. Like I
Yep.
need to be safe that they can come and talk to me.
And that goes right back to the intentionality, like you
Yes.
being intentionally present.
Yes.
Hmm.
And I'm the reason I decided to write a book is because so besides people coming to the farm, I wanted people to be able to get these lessons without having to go find somebody who does what I do. Because I know that that's not horse therapy is really popular for special needs and autism, PTSD.
Yep.
I don't cover any of that and I don't cover trauma. There's places that are perfect for that.
Sure.
and that's their what they do. I was learning so much for myself as a parent and as a leader at work that I'm like, wow, I think there's a lot of lessons for just general people to learn about themselves. And so that's why for me it was really important it was a different market
Yes.
because I believe so much that horses can help. Now, if people couldn't make it, when I was giving talks at networking things, and
Hmm.
I would tell these stories like I'm telling, and like people were like, I can see that. Like, oh, block, don't punch. Like, how can I think of that in my life? Because that's my goal, really, is for people to take home something that might help them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like it. I think the parallels are clear and they're obvious and it makes total sense. Curious when you sort of think about your own personal journey, um, how has it shaped sort of your journey? How has it shaped who you are today in terms of communicator? I guess and a mentor too, right? You do mentorship.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely would catch myself sometimes typing something or texting, like, I would really like you to do this. And then I would put in that qualifier, but I know you're too busy and blah, blah, blah. No, no, no. Get rid of all of that part. Like, just ask like you mean it. Like, I would love for you to do this. And even in terms of like with my book, like, have sent it out to some heavy hitters, hoping to hear back from them. And at
Yeah.
first I was like, who am I to be sending this out to, some of these people? And I'm like, why not? I'm going to ask like I mean it.
Sounds pretty audacious to me.
Yeah, they can say no, but why shouldn't I ask?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yes. So
It's,
definitely my parenting,
mhm.
definitely it helped tremendously. And one of my daughters, so 5 kids, a lot of practice,
Yeah.
lot of good, a lot of not so good parenting moments. Um, and one of my daughters, when she came out, once I did an open house and had a big group there, and she's hearing all the stories and she's like, oh, I can see how you raised me. Like with all these, I knew I couldn't keep asking the same question. And, I talk about things like there's a line between encouraging and nagging.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately, we cross that line too much.
We do. We do. And we don't
We
even
do,
realize
right?
it. We don't even realize it.
Yes, we don't always realize it. A horse often, like I had one client that was asking the horse the same thing over and over and over and over, but the horse was already doing it.
Got you.
So I'm like, he's already doing it. You don't have to keep
Right.
asking or
Mhm.
asking for more. And so eventually the horse kind of kicked out. We were in the middle and the horse was on the end, so it wasn't dangerous at all. And so I said, "Oh, he just gave you the finger. So it's up to you." So how often, kids roll their eyes or, do we miss some of the cues that, oh, I've
Yeah.
I've I've crossed the line. I'm now into the
Yeah.
nagging zone. And how do I back up? And part of that was just learning to be super upfront with my kids. Hey, I need to know this stuff. I don't want to ask you all the time.
Right. Right.
I
Right.
need you to participate in this conversation. And then I'll leave you alone. Or if we were going out to dinner, hey, let's talk about this before we go out to dinner so that you don't feel like I'm grilling you over dinner. Again, as parents thinking we have this captive audience, we don't realize how often we're actually pushing our kids away.
Mm,
So it's like, let's discuss it now because it's still something I need to know,
right.
but it won't be, I don't want to be a nag either.
No.
Right?
No. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's clear that all the things you're talking about, as much as we talk about at home, but they apply even in the workplace, right? They're
Yeah.
equal application. And it's funny because sometimes we sort of think, well, I'm at work in one way, but we're the same person, right? We're the
Yes.
exact same person.
100%. I love that you said that because I often say I call what I do whole life leadership
Okay.
because whether it's at the barn, the backyard, or the boardroom, it's the same skills because it's not about your audience, it's about you,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? So it's
Goes right back
not,
to that again. Yeah.
yeah, it's not the audience, it's you. It's the energy, intention, thoughtfulness, communication that you bring to the table in any situation. So
Energy,
yeah,
intention, thoughtfulness. Those are some big ones.
yes.
So when you think about your book, Maria, is there a transformation that you hope, readers would experience after reading it?
Yes, I hope so. And I've had so much feedback where people are like, wow, all these stories. And that's why I decided to write the book because I would just lead groups and I would go talk, and people were like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And every story hits somebody a different way because, again, it is that individual, like, oh, I do this. I see myself
Right.
in this. And even, parenting is a lot of parents come to me and say it helped them a lot. So parenting and leaders. And then I have people that are like, I'm not a parent, but I totally see this. Like I had one lady who was a teacher.
Uh-huh.
She was one of the ways we asked the horse to back up from our space is just energetically kind of pushing the air. So with my thoroughbred, who's highly sensitive, he would back off if I just did this with him standing in front of me. And I had one lady she kept doing this and she
Okay.
said, why isn't he moving? I said, where are you sending your energy? Because he's in front of you. So the
Right.
minute the hands came this way, the horse backed up and she's like, okay, I'm done. And I'm like, wait, 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 wait. You got to tell me. Because I love learning from my clients. I'm like, what did that just wake up in you? Like, what? And she's a teacher. She was having trouble engaging with her students.
Okay.
And that moment for her was like, oh, I'm not engaging directly. I'm going around. I'm not
Right.
communicating. And for her, it was like a snap, like, oh, it's me this whole time. It's not them, And so we brainstormed on different ways, like how she could engage. She would ask, the royal we, are we doing this
Yep.
assignment?
Yep.
A group of middle schoolers, it's a little hard for them to say, no, I'm not. I don't understand. They're just going to all nod and say, mm-hmm, yeah. And the truth is that it's not. So how do you kind of do little touches with each one, not physical, but in terms of just
Yep.
one-on-one connection
Mm-hmm.
to make sure that they're all on board? Because she also wanted to balance not holding their hand through the whole thing, trying to teach them autonomy and responsibility. So how do you balance the two? Is being a little interactive and
Yes.
then releasing the pressure again at work, at home, like
Yeah.
so many
Same
implications.
thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
The
Yes. So
the applications are universal.
yes. So hopefully with a book, it's a fun way to tell the stories about clients with horses, and
Mm-hmm.
but hopefully people can take it home and be like, oh, yeah, that makes sense for me. And if it encourages people to go volunteer at a horse rescue, like fabulous,
That's a
because
win.
it's a win. It's a win.
I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. I've no, I've very much appreciated the perspective that you've brought on this. The idea of being intentional and mindful of our energy, and then the I guess a higher awareness that horses have to those things are so key. So I do appreciate all that. Before we go, I want to, if you don't mind, we like to have fun here from time to time. And if you're up for what we call the fearless fast round, I throw words out to you and you give me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay.
Yeah, how's that? Is that okay? Is that okay?
We can try.
We can try. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Compassion or control? Which one?
Compassion.
Lead with the heart or with authority?
Hmm. Both. Well, or if you have compassion, then your heart is trustworthy. So at that point, with the heart,
Okay. Boundary or people pleasing?
boundary for sure.
Presence or perfection?
Presence, way better than perfection.
Trust or tension?
Trust. Tension is fear-based, emotional.
Courage or comfort?
Hmm. Comfort.
Hmm. Calm strength or loud power?
Calm strength.
Horse wisdom or corporate rulebook?
Horse wisdom.
Connection or compliance?
Connection.
React or respond?
Respond.
A word that you would use to describe living audaciously.
Authentic.
I thank you for your authentic responses. This has been awesome, Maria. I so appreciate the time. For listeners that wanted to connect with you directly, learn more about your work, or get a copy of your book, where could we send them?
horseandpeopleproject.com is my website. And I am on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, horseandpeopleproject.com in the US. I'm in Maryland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will make sure that all the appropriate contact details are in the show notes below. Give us the name of the title of the book one more time, please.
Ask Like You Mean It.
Very good. Very good. I very much appreciate the time. This has been awesome. Great insights, great lessons learned. And congratulations on the book. First time author, right? So congratulations are in order. And thanks for being a guest today here on the Audacious Living Podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been wonderful. Thank you.
Awesome. Back we are here on the podcast, and I've got to admit, I don't think I'll hear the phrase block, don't punch the same way ever again. And what I really appreciate most about this conversation with Maria is how she never really taught us how to communicate with horses. She taught us how to communicate with ourselves first, whether she was talking about asking like you mean it, releasing pressure, or recognizing when people are backing away from us instead of moving toward us. Every lesson pointed back to one simple truth: our relationships often change when we do. That's key. One moment that stayed with me was when Maria realized her teenage son was beginning to avoid walking to the kitchen. That realization became a turning point, not because her son changed, but because she did. Sometimes the biggest breakthrough comes from having the courage to notice what we've been missing. And that leads perfectly into today's Audacious Insight, because one of the ways, because once, we become aware of the energy we're bringing to the world, we also begin to understand just how much influence one intentional decision can have. It's time for an Audacious Insight, where we take a quick look at something happening in the real world that reflects the power of bold thinking and intentional action. When Greg Popovich became the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, he built a culture that valued relationships as much as results. He challenges players to know one another beyond basketball, encourage honest communication, and believe that trust off the court led to better performance on it. That approach helped the Spurs become one of the most respected and successful organizations in professional sports. And when we look at Maria's work with horses, the lesson is simple: people are far more willing to follow you when they feel understood than when they feel controlled. If you'd like to learn more about Maria, pick up a copy of her book, Asks Like You Mean It, or explore her work through the Horse and People Project. We have all the links for you below in the show notes, so be sure to check it out. And if today's conversation made you stop and think, I'd love for you to follow the podcast, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who you thinks might need a reminder that leadership begins long before we ever think of what happens with someone else and how we lead them. Sometimes growth doesn't come from learning something new. Sometimes it comes from finally seeing something that was there all along. I want to thank you so much for joining us on this episode of the Audacious Living Podcast. And until next time, keep living life audaciously.
Driven by purpose, fueled by passion. My words got power, my thoughts have action. Motivation, stay gracious. That's greatness. Be audacious.